And we are back with the next week, I guess week number 6 of the July draft. Gen 6 OU, Brad the Chatty Daddy versus the Dirt Man. And go ahead and sending them the all clear.
Yeah, Dirtman's got his things. He's throwing his kisses all around. Let's see these leads. Brad going with the Crobat instead of the Sableye. Dirtman throwing a thumbs up, leading with Alex the Arcanine.
Yeah, the Crobat is a little bit more of a taunt lead, so we could see potentially a swap here via U-turn because it's probably faster. Yeah, so there's the U-turn. He's going to get a little bit of momentum, maybe swapping over to the Vaporeon, as that's a defensive Mon. Probably the selection here. He could go over to the Sableye, but the Arcanine is not a burnable Mon, so he chooses the Latias, which is interesting. I guess that Wild Charge is a predicted move there from the trainer Brad, so he knew that the Dragon typing would be able to absorb some of that electric.
Yeah, as well as being resistant to the fire for any follow-up. Good call by Dirtman, hard swapping. But Brad taking the opportunity to set up a Calm Mind.
So Lewis here, um, this is if this is the so we see he seems to be attacking with U-turn. It looks like that is going back to the. It turns out he just added U-turn. It's Lewis. It's not Dominican Luigi.
And now Doug coming out going with the Nightshade, not enjoying that Psyshock. But getting good, respectable chip damage on the Latias nonetheless. We'll see if Brad starts roosting or recovering.
Yeah, I think we'll. Oh, and yeah, on this Latias, I don't think that Brad typically goes with the recover, but he does have it on there. So looks like Brad is interested in just pressing the attacking moves here, while Dirtman is just swapping Pokemon.
Yeah, and I expect another U-turn now to here. There's the recover though,
He
and
presses
the
Giga
Giga
Drain.
Drain.
He might have been expecting Brad to swap there, and instead Brad just settled for the healing move.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching your opponent go in like that, constantly clicking Psyshock, I'm expecting them to be willing to play the rest of the game without the Mon.
And
You
Dirt,
gotta you gotta keep the attack and not expect the swap.
yeah, Dirtman had a pretty good opportunity to press U-turn there, but choosing to press the hard swap instead.
And Dirtman going, ooh, he didn't like that one, just throwing away his Slowbro. We've seen that be an integral member of his team time and time again.
Yeah, definitely. And that Shy Shock will finish off the Dusclops. And the problem is that the Latias is good against the Venusaur's typing, so he can't really send the Venusaur out to counter this Latias.
I mean, something like a Don fan for a knockoff to try and mitigate some, or potentially on this Arcanite's moveset, it could have been running the crunch, but we see the extreme speed hitting a respectable 32. He probably would have had an opening if he could have U-turned into that.
Yeah, I think earlier on not pressing the U-turn on the Celebi and just doing a hard swap might have been the core mistake there for Dirtman, and it seemed to have went away that quickly. But the Arcanine may have been better off just pressing Flare Blitz, um, but who knows?
You see him getting the Latias low now, though. He does have the toolkit to deal with this thing. Hopefully, he'll be able to adjust his play a bit earlier on to be able to deal with the Latias earlier and without all these losses to then actually be able to, take on the rest of Brad's team. Brad's got a full lineup just sitting there.
Yeah. Game one, this Latias showing how powerful it can be. At its core, it's a special defense, special attacker. Um, and running the Calm Mind and Recover package is pretty nice, especially when you can get some pretty good coverage with just two moves in Shock and Thunderbolt against a team that Dirtman brought.
Yeah, Donovan, if he had gotten that poison off earlier, that would have also made things spicier.
Yeah, I think that Dirtman will rethink about who he leads with. The Arcanine was really just not a very effective lead there at the start.
Yeah, I believe the Arcanine was there to respect the Sableye because there's not much it can do against it. But Brad showing the proper play of going into the Latias, setting up and cashing in. Dirtman having the right tools to deal with it, but just kind of doing them in the wrong order.
And Brad takes game number one pretty easily there. Dirtman's going to have to rethink his approach in game number two. We have the challenge out, and perspective is swapped, and they have started the game. So Dirtman swapping it up here and leading with the Donovan. The Crobat has taunt on it, remember, so if he tries to press Stealth Rock, he could lose the turn here.
Yeah. Oh, and there it goes. Ooh, Dirtman's not liking that. He should have seen it coming.
Well, Brad didn't show the taunt in the first game, so Dirtman, if he wasn't expecting it out of the Crobat, now he knows. So Donovan being a ground Pokemon, the Earthquake won't hit. So the Arcanine coming in and the U-turn not doing much, but this will allow him to swap to the same position he was in the previous game.
Yeah, let's see how Dirtman adjusts here.
Last time he decided to swap to the Dusclops, and the Dusclops actually is a pretty decent matchup. I think he had an okay shot there.
Yeah, if he had used the Dusclops, kept the Nightshades coming, and just let it die to the Latias if that's what happens, and then revenge kill it with the extreme speed from the Arcanine, that's a pretty decent one-for-one trade, and you're dealing with Brad's initial answer to the Arcanine with the Arcanine out there.
The Will-O-Wisp there is okay, I guess, to get a little bit of a clock on the Latias. However, we may just see, yeah, Brad presses Calm Mind again. I don't know. We haven't seen Pain Split out of Dirtman yet, but he needs to just be pressing Nightshade here.
Oh, and going with the double protect. You better not trust for a triple. You got to get your Nightshade and trust that your Eviolite Doug can take one hit, but he goes into Donovan.
And the Donovan may actually be a decent swap here if he can hit with a Stone Edge.
It really depends on his move set.
And the Donovan uh, not actually set up to force this Latias out. We remember last week that Dirtman didn't really have a way to deal with Pokemon that were set up. Looking across his team, he yet again does not have a way to deal with them. And the hard swap into the Celebi, he just loses it. And Latias with Recover, I mean, again, the burn isn't actually a clock like a Toxic, but with a healing move on your Mon.
Yeah, the bad thing about the burn is that it stopped the Donovan from having the move that we know can threaten this Latias and the Toxic.
And Dirtman just pressing the protect again. I don't think he is understanding that he needs to get, pressure onto this thing, and it's just too much damage there because he's not going to move fat first here, and the Dusclops will go down to the Psyshock.
Yeah, but now is his opportunity. He has to force that by continuing to press Nightshade, and he press protect, allowing the Latias to recover again. If he had pressed Nightshade, just get it in the Nightshade recover loop. Use that flat damage to just force the Latias to kill you and revenge kill with the Arcanine. This thing's got special defense. It does not have physical defense. We've seen the Arcanine hit with an extreme speed, fairly tough, like yeah, over 25%. You have to create those openings for yourself.
Yeah, and Brad definitely was trying to keep this Latias as it's got a decent amount of investment with several calm mines that he's used, so you got to expect that he wants to maintain it if you're Dirtman. So the sturdy would have kept it alive if that. Oh, and the rapid spin there, not making any sense. You have no rocks or hazards or anything on your side of the battlefield, so not sure what the move was there.
He's clearly just in a panic and not sure what to do. Just rolling around on the ground, Brad taking this opportunity to really demonstrate his strength, saying, I know what Dirtman can't deal with. I know what his weakness is, and I'm going to abuse that immediately against him. And it's going to be a couple 6-0s.
Yeah, just too little too late for the Dirtman. Venusaur coming out here will just die to the Psyshock because Latias has many, many calm mines, and that stab Psyshock is really good.
And good on Brad, seeing that he had some difficulties and that Dirtman had tools to deal with the Latias with a couple boosts onto it and really investing in this game. Getting the full boosts up and out there. This may be Dirtman's best chance for a kill to not get 6-0'd yet again.
Yeah, 42% is a lot for the extreme speed. So if he pressed recover, and he didn't, he pressed Psyshock, which will take it down, but the burn will kill. It's
Plus the
up
life
to
orb.
it's up to
Slow bro.
Slowbro against the world here. And the Vaporeon should have Toxic on it to be able to force out this Slowbro pretty quickly. The Vaporeon though doesn't. It just has Scald, but it has Wish. So I guess that he just says we'll just stall out until you give up. And there's the Water Absorb. The Slowbro doesn't have the Bolt. It's I believe running the Flamethrower. Or sorry, the Psyshock instead of Bolt. No slack off either, so this Slowbro will go down quite quickly without the ability to swap out with Regenerator.
Yeah, I gotta say, this Slowbro looks absolutely disgusting. Dirtman taking the time to name his Pokemon, but not to make them shiny. Um, need I say more?
And here comes Absol. This is going to be the Mega, and Psyshock not going to work against the Dark Pokemon. He can go ahead and Mega Evolve here, and if Dirtman presses Thunder Wave, it'll bounce back with the Magic Bounce on the Mega Absol. Nope, just the knockoff able to kill it and finish this off a 2-0 for Brad, and Dirtman's got to
GG.
be unhappy with that one.
Why a fall from grace from the Dirtman there? The fourth slot is